Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
Today, this is May 5th. And it looks like we have a couple red folders. One, this was earlier this morning at 3 o'clock. That was unemployment change for the euro. And it looks like everything's going to be pretty quiet until about 8:15. I have a couple of announcements for the American dollar and 8:15 and 10 o'clock news for the dollar. And let's see what Forex Factory says today. Forex Factory doesn't have anything real significant until about 6:30 this evening. So we're pretty good for news-wise today. Nothing overly earth-shattering. And then we'll go to our charts to see how strong our currencies are. Right now I'm looking at the stronger pairs are going to be the Swiss, the Aussie, and the New Zealand. That's on the 5-minute, 15-minute Swiss, Aussie, New Zealand. And 15 minutes the same, and higher time frame, the CAD looks a little bit stronger as a different one. But basically we're looking at we'll be trading in the direction of the strength of the Swiss, Aussie, New Zealand, and pretty much the weakness of the euro, yen, and US dollar. So let's go to the charts and see what we have. And there's an Aussie, this was the 1 hour Aussie chart that came up, and I kind of liked it on the 1 hour. This is the orange line here is where the 1 hour arrow came in there. You can see we had a 15-minute arrow way down here, which was part of this big move. That would have been the one to take. But right now, we have a little bit of, actually it's building a wedge right up in here. You can see the wedge. Let me draw it out here. I kind of like this to the upside. It does have room to the upside. The problem is there's a zone where you see I drew the blue zone. That's the ones I draw. But here's the wedge, and right now it's consolidating. Now it's coming. We had a nice big move up, crossed over all my moving averages. All my moving averages are in the right direction. Crossed over the 200 moving average. It actually is in a downtrend, but with this on this 15-minute chart, it's pretty much kind of gone sideways a little bit. There is room to the upside if it can break through this blue zone. But if you look over here on the blue zone, what I didn't like about this was we had this, here's a strong move down, came back up, got some sellers, came back in, and then it fell off from this area. So this is really the area where the origin of this down move came back up, retested it where the orange line is, was rejected. So right now there's some sellers up in this area that's give it some problem to get through to get over to the red zone. And that's one reason why I didn't take it. If I got a 38% pullback on this, then I might be willing to take it because then you'd have enough room. Or even if I get to the 23%, for the 23%, if I can get this thing to pull back to the 23% and come up and break through the wedge, then I'd have at least 8 pips. I can maybe get my 5 pips out of it. But right now, there's just too much right here to that gives me pause. The Aussie was strong to the US dollar, but it just seems like it may be hitting the wall right here. So I'm going to hold off on that one. We'll keep a look at that. We'll keep our eyes on it. We had a British CAD. Let's see what this one looks like here. British CAD down move. 15-minute chart. Hit my moving averages in here. See what kind of direction we have. And it has a little bit of consolidation. They're not quite in the same order. We did break through the 200. Except for the 200, everything's in the right order to go short. Let's see, let's go to mark this one right here. And let's see, and then from this point to the green line, we have 22 pips. Enough room there is 22, 33 pips to the upside. We're pretty much right in the middle of this range. It's been somewhat range bound for the last couple of days. The range is it's a good range. I mean, there's like 50 pips or 56 pips range. But right now it's in sort of a no man's land right now. It's right in the middle, so it could go either way. I do like the fact that my moving averages, it broke the 200. I like the fact that moving averages are in the right direction, except for that 200. The price is below the arrow moving average and the 200 moving average, so that's a good thing. And we're starting to get across of the green 5 period and 13 period. Let's take a look at it on the 5-minute chart and see what that tells us. That tells us a little different story. Everything looks good there. This one looks like it'd be okay to take this trade. 22 pips to the downside, no zones in between. And we have some strength to the CAD. Let's see, let me double check our meter here. The CAD and the, what was that? There was the Swiss? No. What are we looking at? We're looking at the British CAD. So British and the CAD. So CAD is strong, that's good. CAD is stronger. Canadian dollar stronger to the British, just barely on the 30-minute, and still strong. So I think we can maybe take this one. Now, if we get filled, we're going to get filled in down here where this white line is. It's breaking through this, has a strong move up, came back down. This point was rejected. If we can get a close below this pivot, we have a little bit of a wedge in this little area right here.
Hey, good morning.
Pivot low. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, Matt. How are you?
Super well.
Good.
We're trying to see if this is going to be anything. Don't really like that big spike up there. Actually, that big spike is actually kind of good because that would give us a reason to think this thing's going to get rejected.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it close below where this. I'd like to see it close below this line right in here. That way, that would make me think it's going to keep on going lower. It seems to be finding some buyers coming in right down at the bottom. Here's an origin. This is the origin of the big move up to that move. I want to see it comes. We did get a low rejection. If we can get a break below, we've got to break below these pivots.
So you want to see it close below where, Al?
Well, I'm thinking here. That's a good question.
Oh.
I'm trying to figure this one out here. This was the origin. We had the pullback, and from here it went right straight on up. So I'm going to use this pivot here. Now we had this is like a double bottom that it came down, went up, came back down, rejected. So this point right here is kind of critical right now. If it can stay below this trend line on this pullback, then this could have been a head fake right here. This was kind of a little bit tough because we had the fact this was like a double bottom makes me a little concerned, trying to figure out which one of these to use. I mean, I'll usually use the second one, then the first one, because that's the same point, the same price point.
I actually looked at this last night, Al. I looked at this setup last night. And I felt like it was still too early to take a position just because of all the consolidation. Yeah.
And there is if you look at it, try to look at the bigger picture here. Here's a trend. Here, oops, wrong one. Let's just keep that right there. Got the wrong one. Here, try this one. We use this point and this point. This is our anchor. There's the anchor. Here's the hit. This was didn't even come close, really, right there. I think this one has room to the downside. I think I would be willing to take this one. This was a down. I think this was on the 15-minute, I believe, is where we got this one. It's not real clean, but it's not bad. It's not really it's not really a clean arrow because it didn't have it had a bounce arrow on the arrow, and the bounce arrow go. It already hit the target and came back out. Now it's retracing. Let's check it with the Fibonacci's. Maybe that might give us a little picture here. And pull back to the 76%. Now it's right here in the middle. It's 61 and 38. If I move this thing down a little bit closer to this one. Now this is right at the It's almost like it wants to go up higher still.
Yeah, it could fake you out there, Al.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever they're right in the middle of the zones like this and they're kind of consolidating, that's a kind of a 50-50 chance of whether or not it's going to work or not. I like a little bit more odds than that. I think we can find cleaner trades.
Yeah, I think there's better opportunities out there,
Yeah,
Al.
I think we're going to hold off on that one.
There's just not enough confirmation that it's going to go.
No, the strength was to the downside, but I said it looks like it's having some consolidation in this point.
It actually looks like this might have been like the bottom of that entire run. Way to the left there. Oh, anyway, I have mine open on Trading View so I can see to the left. But to the left, we have a low, and then we're going up. So it looks like it might have turned around at a higher time frame level.
Yeah, but right now, if you figure this whole move right here as one candle, as one, say a 3-hour candle, it's right now we're right in the middle. It's sort of like it closed. It's well, let's see. One thing I like to do is I usually like to see where the top 25% of a move is and the bottom 25%. So if I were to draw this is another reason why I'm kind of hesitant with this one. Is I'm going to mark my top 25%. It's up in here. My lower 25% of this move is going to be down here. I would like to see it get into at least one of those blue zones before I were to. That way you feel at least that way you're somewhere. Because right now it's just consolidating. It's making lower highs and higher lows, and you don't really know where that's going to stop and where it's going to turn around. So I'm passing on it. That's when it gets up to this area, we'll reevaluate. Until then, I'm staying away from that one.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah, that's a wise move, Al. I'm of the same opinion. I can let me show you what I did last night as a markup, and it's already broken both of my trend lines. Here, I'll just send a screenshot in the chat. I saw Leon there make a post about U.S. Swiss hitting the Fibo.
U.S. Swiss hit the Fibo 100 end zone. U.S. Swiss. Let's see. Let's take a look and see what he's talking about. U.S. Swiss. Yeah, we have the. Let's see. Let's go with the. This was only 1 hour, I believe, till 15-minute. We had the zone. We had a bounce arrow go. But even like with this
Wouldn't
one,
chase that.
you still wouldn't have chased that because they only had 3 pips to the zone by the time you got the arrow. And you're probably going to run into some problems with it going short. The U.S. was weak to the Swiss, so that was a good thing. If you had the arrow yeah, you still didn't have enough room to take the trade on this one. Again, remember you need to have 20 pips to your target and need to be with the trend. Now, right now, I've just looking at this, I'm seeing 3 green, 2 red. That means it's really in an uptrend. You can zoom out a little bit to make sure. 3 red, 1, 2, 3, 4 green. This thing's really in an uptrend.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He says since it hit the since it reversed 100%, it's probably going to reverse.
Yeah, I would expect this thing to maybe bounce. Maybe you might be able to get a bounce arrow go up to this point, and if depending on where the arrow is, if you get the arrow somewhere around where my cursor is right now, then you have room to this little new red zone up here. So this one maybe something worth keeping in mind. We'll keep our eyes on this one as well.
Yeah, it's kind of towards the bottom of a channel, eh? I
Well,
drew a channel.
You can see it's making, here's low, it's making higher highs and higher lows. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. It is in the channel, so it's kind of in the bottom of a,
I think it could. I could see that drop a little bit if you see my my trading view chart that I posted in the chat there. I just drew a price channel, and yeah, I could see it drop about another 10, 15 pips, and then that'll be the bottom of the channel.
Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, this is the chart you're talking about right here.
No, the other one. That was the one before. That was the pound yen, pound CAD.
That one?
That one there. Yeah, you see my price channel.
Yep.
And then you still got some room to the bottom, but notice that the other one, it didn't hit the bottom either. It was a higher low. But if you take a flat line from that one, you're actually going to end up almost at the channel.
Yeah, I can't draw anything because it's your chart.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, it looks like there could be a nice trade set up here.
See, this is on the U.S. Swiss. Let me see here. U.S.
I've loved the Bollinger Bands. I've been messing around with them a little bit, and I actually noticed that we have a new name in the chat. One that I've met in person a couple years back.
Oh.
Yeah, pretty amazing trader, by the way. Pretty amazing trader. We'll keep him anonymous unless he wants to make a post, you know?
Well, we like having anybody's input that we have, especially people that are experienced.
Well, you know, we got CB in here as well.
Is he? Where's he at?
Oh, there he is.
He's hiding us.
He's flying under the radar.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll bring him over. If he wants to talk, he can. If he doesn't want to, we'll give him the opportunity to speak up if he chooses.
Yeah.
We'll bring him over.
I was happy to see him and the other trader that I won't mention. But
see, this is the U.S. Swiss. This is the same thing we were looking at earlier. I'm looking at this channel right here. Here's probably from about, looks like we have a couple. Now, if we take it to this one, it looks like it's breaking through the bottom. If we use that, if we take it from this one.
Oh, that's interesting, Al. I like that angle that you put on that.
Well, we have a couple different choices here. We have this one. This was where the whole thing really started, and it came up, retested. So I like these 2 points. This one hasn't come down deep enough. So this channel, if it could break where that area was, this could be the next place. But we also have another channel right in here. So you actually have like a channel I call it basically
Well, that could be a 7 or 10 pip trade there, Al.
This one where to
Go bring it to the other low. Where you started.
this one?
Yeah, to that one.
This one?
Yeah. And then right there.
It's already broken this pivot right here.
Yeah, it just tapped that pivot.
So basically this is going to be the next area where it would, if it comes down, this has to get through this area right in here. So this is kind of where I start calling it the trap. There's a trap where it breaks through the one, everyone thinks, oh, it's going down lower, and he runs right into this little deal right here.
Yeah.
So,
where all those zones are, and they're all in such a small area.
Let's see, how much room do we have here? We have.
What's that?
That's 12 pips.
12 pips. It's too tight for a trap zone, right? You don't want to be taking a trade into a trap zone.
And you see it's coming right down. It's bouncing, getting a little bit of a bounce right off of that.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that next candle come up and tag the bottom of that trend line, because that's a pretty solid trend line. We'll see what happens. Either it's going to come up and tag it a little bit, or it's going to come right down and hit that other trend line down there.
If this comes up into the trend line and gets rejected, then we could go on down and be retesting this one.
Right.
This is a relatively strong move down. And then again, we're looking at the US dollar, Swiss. Take a look and see where our strengths are. The Swiss is still strong. US dollar is picking up a little bit. This is on a pullback, but on the 15-minute chart, Swiss is still strong to the US dollar. So I would not want to take it to the, I wouldn't play it in the favor of the strength to the Swiss on this one. So the Swiss is the second currency of the pair, so we were looking at taking it to the short side. Let's look at a 5-minute chart. See where things are. Yeah, I'd say this is a little bit of a pullback. If it pulls back and reverses, we may have a trade here. Right now, the dollar is a little bit stronger here on this 1-minute chart, which is be normal for a pullback. The Swiss is still strong on the 5 and still strong on the 15. So that just tells me this is a pullback to maybe take an entry if it tags this trend line here. Go back to our trading view charts. We'll see, should be able to see the same thing. US Swiss, go to a 5-minute. We have a little bit of a pullback here.
I'm going to keep my eyes on the indices for now there, Al, and then we'll see if we can...
Right now it's building a little bit of a wedge right in here. See, we had, and it's probably going to be a little bit of a flat top. So we have a little bit of a trend line. There's a trend there. Maybe pull up a little bit higher here. Here's the anchor. Here's a hit. See if it comes up and retags this. If it can tag that, and we may have a trade. We had the entry. Let's see. Let's get some moving averages on here. See where they're at. All of our moving averages are in the correct direction with the break of the 200. Let's let this thing pull back a little bit. The further this thing pulls back, the more room you have to your target, to the target zone. You see it almost penetrated, almost went through this whole green zone right here. So the buyers did come in at the bottom of this. You barely get your 7 pips out of that.
That's not an arrow I would take. Not down. because it's the second arrow, right? Remember we talk about the second arrows and how we can't really put a lot of weight onto them? Because the first arrow is a lot better generally. But are we in an uptrend?
But even that's what this first arrow wasn't even a true arrow bag trade because it didn't come off the arrow was off of a retrace.
Oh yeah, it was off the pullback, eh?
Yeah. Are we in an uptrend? Let's see. Let's go on a 15-minute chart and see what we're at here.
Hey guys.
Hey CB.
CB.
Hi, CB.
I run a little late this morning. Thanks for bringing me over.
Oh, well, we're just assuming you're okay with that.
Of course.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We are in a uptrend, so we would want to have an up arrow. I like putting these arrows in here just so I can mark where the overall trend direction, and that way, if this trend goes away, then I'll know if it's or if it's building some new green zones above. I'll know that it's just getting stronger and stronger. Lets me know where the last one was. I'd rather see this one. Let's see, do we have room to the upside? If we get an arrow, there's 28 pips. We have to get one pretty quickly off of the bounce. But even there, the moving averages are still not, they're kind of consolidating. They consolidated right. You can see where all the moving averages are all consolidated right in this area. It came back out. Now it's retesting this consolidation zone. And sometimes it's hard to see where the wicks are with these zones here, but it's pretty much hitting a double bottom right in here. You can see how this is the money zone where this real bright green part is. You can see how deep it went from yesterday's zone. The zone was created yesterday near the end of the day. Yeah, I'll stay away from that one. So far, nothing much to be looking at here. Let's see on CAD. And we should, another 40 some seconds, we'll have maybe get another alert here. Let's give us some time and see what happens.
Absolutely.
Both those trades we took yesterday did work out for us. So the one I just sort of let it run and that one closed out. So this was the 2 trades we took yesterday.
Nice.
The first one, and then this was the one we took right near the end of the day. I said it was a little bit iffy, but I took it and just let it. I was either going to get stopped out and woke up, and it was profitable. So we had two for 2 yesterday.
Good stuff, Al.
And just trying to just be somewhat selective. And let's see, Aussie US 15-minute. Here we go. We got 15-minute charts. Aussie US. Let's see where that is. This is all right. This is the one where I was looking at this one earlier. I had it drawn out. We had a little bit of a wedge. It broke out. We have the arrow. This is the one that has this zone right here. Let's just check and see if the Aussie's still strong. I think it probably is.
GCAD's got a short there.
Aussie US it's kind of consolidating right in here. Aussie US, we have our 3-point spread on our 30-minute. We don't have it quite on the 15 and the 5 that's right neck and neck. I don't really like it any better now than it was earlier.
Well, you're counter trend, right? Aussie US.
Let's see. It's the trend on this one is. So I need to mark that.
You got 4 zones against 2.
1, 2, 3, 4. 2.
Yeah,
it is somewhat counter trend.
And you are making lower lows from an overall price perspective. You just made a higher high though, but we'll see what happens from earlier over there.
Yeah, so the thing I didn't like about this one is this little zone right over in here that seems to be causing it. The fact it's in a downtrend. We actually have let's see if I draw the Fibonacci's from the downtrend. Let's see where that is from that. Let me get rid of this one.
Yeah, crypto's not really moving today either. I know CB's been scoping the charts. Excuse me.
So we're going to take it from this. Let's see, we have.
You got that moving average cross to the upside, Al.
Well, right now the moving averages are going to the up now to retest this. Let's see if I have. If I go all the way from. I'm gonna take it from. I'll just see where it looks like from up from the high to the low. Right now we're right at the 76% retracement. So this thing, which is right here where this zone is. So this is the upper 25%. Here's the lower 25%. I'm more inclined to think that this thing is going to turn around. If we can get this thing to turn around going towards the downside, but right now it's not ready because it's still kind of moving to the upside. I really don't like this. It just, oh boy.
It's a mess, really, Al. There's nothing more else to say because it's not. I can't see it clear. I'm still looking at my analysis from last night, and I don't know. Maybe someone else has some other opinions on there.
Well, I do like. We had a double R. This was the bounce arrow. I mean, if we could have gotten in down here, I've been all over that one because even then you have room to the upside. Even with this one, you would have had room to, even like to there. That's 14 pips. I still have gone for my 6 or 7 pips on that one. The fact we're all the way up here into this zone, I'm just going to pass on it. I just have to pass on it. It's tempting, but it's the dollar is gaining some. The Aussie is starting to lose some strength to the dollar, which is no. I'm going to pass. We'll keep an eye on it though. Let's see. How about this one? British CAD. We had that one earlier.
Yeah, you see, it's so weird, man.
And this was that double arrow. You see it came right down into this 25% note. So now the fact it did come down to this is one we said if it comes down to 25%, we may want to take it long, but right now we don't. It broke the trend. It's in good, so it is making lower highs, and right now we have a double bottom right here at the bottom. British CAD, let's see where that is. British CAD. That's right in the middle. Right in the middle. No clear direction. The CAD's stronger here on the 5-minute. Not by a lot. I like to see, when I like taking the trades, I like seeing these things have a nice split between, especially on the 15 and the 30-minute. I like seeing being the top two or the bottom two with an arrow like that. That gives me a really good feeling about the direction on it. This one, it's just more of a crapshoot on that.
I haven't heard you use that before.
The crapshoot. A highly technical term.
Yeah, it seems that way. Look at this.
Push the bottom. Same thing.
Another Alism.
Alism. Let's see. Well, here we have
I'm gonna draw a pitchfork on the GBP NZD.
So here's a anchor. Here's a hit. Rejected off of this point, so we can use that as our first hit of the trend line. Now we're going to wait and see, and we have the anchor. Let me move this down just a little bit there. Anchor, here's the hit, and now we're going to see, so right now it's consolidating inside this triangle. And to see, so we just have to wait and see which ones start getting stronger. And let's see, Aussie US, did we do that one yet? That's the one.
Yeah, you're on that.
That's the one we decided to reject that one. And I think over on here. No, I'm not going to even look at the 1 minute. Let's take a New Zealand yen on 30 minutes, see what that looks like. Well, that's right up into the zone. You'd have to get through this zone first. It did have, it's not even a double arrow. But it has this zone to get through, so there's no trade there either.
Al,
Yes.
in the chat, Sis mentioned the GN may reverse bullish divergence on M15 on your pound New Zealand. If you want to check another
GN,
alert
I'm
on.
going to assume that's British New Zealand.
Yes.
May reverse bullish divergence on M15.
Just in case you're
British
looking
New
for
Zealand.
something.
British New Zealand on the M15. M15. British New Zealand. M15. Let's see what we've got here. In order to check out the divergence, I'd have to go to another chart, my other charts, to look up for divergence. In fact, let's just do that. British New Zealand. Let's see, I mean, which one do I want to use here? British New Zealand.
One of the most volatile pairs that we do trade, other than the indices. This one is.
Yeah, I think what he's talking about with the divergence is that I use these charts a lot to figure out the divergence. You have here's a low, here's a lower low, here's a low, and here's a higher low. That would be the divergence from what I would be looking at here. I have this little low to here. Let's get my stick here. Let's just stick. Here we go. So you have a low, and there's your low, and then there's a lower low, and then down here off of our oscillator, you could call it, you have a low, and then a little bit higher low. That would be your divergence. And that usually means that it's going to go to the upside.
It's not always, though. So divergence is something you can use, but it's not set in stone 100% of the time you see divergence, it's going to turn around.
Yeah, on the lower time frame, 15-minute time frame is usually about, I've seen the divergence on a lower time frames like the 5 and the 1 and even the 15 for that matter. They'll give you that thinking it's a divergence, but it just keeps on breaking it out. Usually the higher the time frame, the more likely it is to. But this one does actually look like
divergence is good on the lower time frames, generally like 5 and 1. I use it a lot on the 1 minute charts.
My New Zealand is the yellow one. My British pound is, so we're going to have a 2-point spread here. I'd like to see, okay, we are getting the moving averages to cross here, so that's a good thing. This green, green, green. This one actually has some possibilities not from a arrow standpoint, but from a technical standpoint. This thing has some possibilities actually. Here's a high, here's a low. Here's our wedge. And if it can break through this, it has room to the upside, probably to about to here. That's 93.62. Yeah, you could get your 10 pips out of that.
That's a third trend line bounce, Al. That where it is right now on the 15 on GBP NZD.
Oh, third trend line hit.
Wait, 1, 2, 3. Let me see. I almost got it. Yeah.
Remove this one, unsync that.
Yeah, you have to go back a little bit for the.
There's a little bit of a trend. We might be able to use this trend line here. See if this one lines up. Have this pivot high here.
Oh, Ethereum came to life, did it, Judson?
Yeah, I think that might be the one that's going to give percentage-wise, going to give Bitcoin a little bit of. Bitcoin's so expensive that there's so many others out there that are a lot cheaper and have the same potential that Bitcoin's done. So right now we have a little bit of a descending wedge on this. I'll probably slide this one over a little bit tighter here. This is a double bottom pretty much. So here's a possibility of a trap. This pivot to up here where the trend line break.
There it is.
Now, if this is a true divergence, then this low will not get broken where the B is, and it should take off from that area. And actually, the D probably shouldn't either, because that way it should be making higher highs. It's not really making higher highs. It's just sort of consolidating right now. And New Zealand is starting to get stronger here. Moving averages are moving in the right direction. Now the question is, so this was the bottom of the divergence. Now the question is it going to break that or not? It's trying.
Depending on the side of your trading account, size of your trading account, that could be the $1 million question there, Al.
Yeah.
And it's going down.
I think it's good. The divergence is see, New Zealand's gotten stronger. Yeah, right now you don't want to be trading this to the upside because New Zealand dollars. It's a yellow one down here. That's the same thing as that other chart that I was showing you. That's the same thing as here, just on the charts. Oops, where'd that come from? Find out more. I don't want to find out more.
Excuse me, Al.
Yes.
Maybe you can explain for everybody in the room, because we have different levels, exactly what you mean by what a trap is.
The trap is when you have, what I call a trap is when you have a trend line and or a wedge, and it breaks the wedge, and it gives you the idea that things just going to start tanking. But usually what happens is there's a pivot here, and there's another pivot. The trap is it gives you the strong, it looks like it's going to just tank and comes right down into the trap. It can't break through the bottom. It breaks the trend line. People say, "Oh, I just got the close. It broke the trend line, and I'm gonna take it short." But all it is just a head fake. It's kind of like that head fake. So I always look and see where the two pivot points are before the third hit, where it was broken. Now, if it breaks, closes, it comes back up. Like it's starting to come back up now. I mean, right now this trap is no longer. This trap did not work. So it is going deeper. But you can also see that this is the area where it's starting to, it found some buyers coming in right around this area. But right now we have our trend line, the close below. This whole thing could still be a trap, but now it's coming back to retest the trend line. This is where you'd want to be getting in if you feel that it's still, so we keep on going short.
What's our arrow say on that one now? What does it look like now that we lost that zone?
The British New Zealand.
Yeah, GBP NZD. Says short on the 15, and it is a second arrow.
You have 10, and you have 10 pips to the zone right here.
Right. I want to measure that from a Fibo perspective, though. I want to see if it's sitting in an area that might be problematic.
See, from a Fibonacci, actually, if I'm looking at it from a Fibonacci, we have this move here. Came down. I look at it before the first pullback to the, from here to the first area pulled back to the 38%. That's the one that you're oftentimes looking for. And then it comes down and should be looking at this area right here. So right now it's pulling back up. I could take it now to this one. And see the retracement. If it pulls back anywhere between 23, I'd call it 23 and 38%. Notice I would want to have my stop up around above. I'd want to have my stop. The fact this thing came up to the 50%, I want my stop to be in this area right in here. That's a 40 pip stop right there. Now the fact that we had this pullback here, pulled back to the 38%, it broke the zero line. The 38% would be the target. Now the question would be, here's where the white line is. That's where you'd be getting in if you hit it right now. It's still 22 pips to the downside. New Zealand's stronger. I'll take this for 9 or for 5 pips. So
Take this for 9, Alex.
on a 5, take it for, I'm going with a 15, 7 pip target, 15 pip stop.
Judson, you said Litecoin, eh? Litecoin on the M5. I got no trade ideas on Litecoin on the M5.
I move my stop up to this area here. Move it up to the 23%. I'm gonna keep it well above this moving average. Let's see where our moving averages are with this. If I should check that first. Moving averages are all in the correct direction. As long as this green moving average doesn't cross over the yellow one, I'm good. If I see it cross over, then I may rethink this. But you see how it came up, how this green one came down, came up to kind of challenge the 13 moving average, but then it rejected it. Now, if we can see if this thing comes over and actually crosses, that means this down move may have been done. But right now, we're still looking at this as our target. Actually, the target is I could probably even go a little bit more than just the 7 pips.
Oh yeah, you know what? You're right, Judson. Mine's slow. Sorry, Al. Go ahead.
No, I'm just no. I just moved my target. Now I'll give myself a little bit more of a berth on my target.
Okay.
This could be a real challenge right here. See if this if we get crossover. In fact, we had a strong move down. This strong move down, and it came right back, rejected right off of that point. That's not good.
Let's see what happens.
But we do have strong move down, moving averages. Let me put the Fibonacci back up here. Here's the strong move down. Here's the 38% retracement of this down move, 38% retracement. It came right up into, made a new zone right at that point. And we have a trend line. Let's see where this trend line, how we want to draw the trend line here. From here, I want to take it to the top of, I can't see where the red lines are, but I'm going to say right about into there. Here's our downward trend. Here we have a little channel. I usually like to draw the trend lines off of a point where it was rejected. That's why I kind of like this one. This one came up, strong move down, rejected it. Now it's coming back up to retest the trend line. Let's see, we probably have a few more things to be looking at here while we're playing around with this one.
I do have a question for you, though, Al, in the Q&A, since you
Okay.
have a moment. Sir Mittman, you're called. Is your strategy to scan the market first with your currency strength meter before looking for high probability trades?
I usually scan it just to try and find out which is strong and which isn't strong. I usually like to check it before I enter the trade just to see if everything still fits with the, because what it does, it tells you whether or not you're moving in the right direction, and how much, it gives me pretty much a real-time update on how strong one currency is against the other. Like I said, I'll scan it, especially if I don't have any trades set up where don't get any alerts. I'll go to that meter and I'll just see which one's strong, which one's weak, and then I'll go and I'll start hunting for a trade. But I find it to be a very useful tool to keep you going in the right direction and give you an idea of whether or not you're at the end of a move before you get into a trade, rather than trying to second guess just because of what the charts are saying. So I find it to be, I usually check it. And if you notice on when I go to my trading view charts, I have that on the currencies that are of the chart that it is. Every time I change currency, this is my strength meter. This is the same tool right here. And I can just look and see on all 3 time frames how strong the New Zealand is right now. I can see the New Zealand is still the strongest on all 3 time frames. So I'm still going in the right direction. That's what's nice about that tool. And let's see where we got here. Euro yen, 15 minutes. Oh, this one might be a possibility. Let's see our moving averages. Get those up right away. That's one of the first things I do before I start drawing, because every time I do, if I draw first, then I have to redraw them again because, all right, so there we have there's a 200 up there. Prices below all the moving averages are moving in the right direction. We pretty much have a bounce, arrow, go. This could be a back trade. We got 13 pips to the downside. Let's see what it is on the 5-minute chart. See if there's any other zones to be looking at. Here's a drop. Here's a little bit of a wedge developing right in here. I'll draw from the bottom here to this. And this one we could actually probably almost put a sell stop in if it breaks through the wedge. Did find some buyers, came down here. Now some buyers. Let's see how much of a pullback we'll get off of this one here. I'll measure the Fibonacci I'll go from this point to this point. See how much of retracement we get. When we get 23% retracement, I'll take a sell stop on this one here. Let's see, sell, put it right about there. Trade, sell stop. That way, if it comes back down through, it'll come back down, go for my 5 pips. Modify this. And I'm going to go for, right now the entry is at 14. I'm going to go for 31. Take profit of, let's go with 4 here. 4. And give a 31. Let's go 15 pips, so 31. Now go 31.30. Here's my stop. Here's my target. If it once it pulls back, if it pulls back to the 38%, then I'll probably start getting into this trade. I may actually move it up if it pulls back to 38. If it doesn't pull back to 38, I'll be in it before then and see if it still keeps going in the right direction. Check the euro yen. Let's go with the euro and the yen. The yen is getting stronger. Euro is weak. Yen is stronger. Not by a lot over here. Not by a lot over here. Not a great spread on that. We'll see if that gets a little bit better. I find out a lot of times if it only pulls back 23%, if it's strong move down, it pulls back only 23%, that's going to be pretty much like a base drop, and you could very well get, actually you could even take it maybe from this point right here. This is actually the origin. And it almost pulled back from this point here. It actually pulled back almost to the 38%. And then the target would be down here to my target may be a little bit hefty there. Let's see. Looks like this other trade's starting to work out, this British New Zealand. Yep, just got filled there. One down. And let's see what this one does. Nice little pullback. Didn't quite make the 38%, but that's okay. Actually, I can move my stop. If it does get filled, then I'll move my stop down a little bit lower into right around this, between the 61 and the 50%. That looks like more than 5 pips there. It's 9. Move this target up to this one right here. Let's see how our index is doing here. Someone said that the gold's going down and the UK 100. I don't even have the UK 100. He must be from the UK, I'm guessing. M5. Do I need to put that one on here for all of our London folks?
Yeah, I have it on there. I don't trade it a whole lot. I kind of stick to the German 30.
Well, let me see what we have here. UK, so boy, let's see indexes. Here we go. UK 100. I'll stick it on there. Let's see, I'm gonna change my template here. Properties. I'll stick it right in here. UK 100, I guess it says. And UK 100, let's see what we got here. I don't trade the indexes a whole lot on this. Bounce arrow, where did the bounce arrow go on this one right here? There's the first arrow. That was way back at, that was in the middle of the night. And that would have gotten 20 pips there. That would have worked. This one may have worked as well. Maybe not quite as, yeah, it would have still worked. 28 pips. It's getting near the top of a zone here though. Let's see what it looks like for direction here. And so I like using my moving averages because that oftentimes just tells me what the direction is going to be, at least on that time frame chart. The 200 is usually a telltale. It says it's in an uptrend. I'm guessing that's going to be correct. 1, 2,
Yeah,
3,
they
4,
like to call it. They like to call it the bank's moving average, right?
Yeah, is that what they call it?
Yeah, well, that's what some people like to call it, I guess.
I was listening to some news the other day. They said that Bank of America said something to the fact that, what was it, what term they use? It was like transitory hyperinflation is likely. Transitory means basically we're going to have hyperinflation. They just don't know how long it's going to last.
Well, that's fancy.
Yeah, they just announced that yesterday.
Well, JP Morgan announced that they're going to allow certain of their clients to start investing in Bitcoin in a special fund. So that's interesting.
And they're also saying that the feds are going to require pension funds to invest 30% of their pensions into U.S. Treasuries. That's bound to work out well.
Yeah, right.
No one else will buy the bonds. I guess they'll make the pension funds buy them.
That's terrible.
I just heard that yesterday on the news.
That's
Whatever,
terrible.
if you want to believe the news. So that's just what things are coming. Just be prepared. Let's see here. That's one thing about learning how to trade, is that it's a skill that will never go away. The banks are always going to be there, and the best thing you can do is try and stay ahead of it with their game. And that's one reason why we are all here. At least that's one reason why I'm here, is to learn that skill and to develop that skill to where you always have a source of an income. Not a lot on the 15-minute. There's a couple on the 5-minute. Let's see.
I'm looking at a buy on German 30. Looks like there might be an opportunity here if an arrow shows.
Which any particular time frame?
I was doing 5, but I go down to the 1 for execution.
You looking for a buy on it?
Yeah. I'm just looking for. Oh, you don't have. Okay, yeah, you're good. It's just because I got a red zone at the 1 minute, so. Which wasn't unexpected because there's a very strong uptrend. So it had to have a little bit of resistance somewhere.
Yeah, I can see where this might develop templates.
Now, if you haven't traded a lot of these indices, stick to your demo account until you got a couple, like maybe 50 or 100 trades under your belt before you start putting your live money in there.
And make sure you understand what the lot size value is too. German 30 tends to be rather expensive.
Yes, and the margin requirements are higher as well. So the 4X will cost you almost nothing for a 0.01. The German 30 will cost you like, I think it's something like $80 of your margin.
Oh yeah, keep all that.
And that's before it moves. That's before it moves.
That's just to get into the trade.
You're in the pound yen, eh?
Well, yeah, I was just there we go.
Oh, okay. I'm just looking for that arrow confirmation there. Looking for a little something.
Now, German 30, what I need to, my defaults are all 0.05, but I need to back this off to about
No, it's got to be like minute, man, like 0.01 or something.
0.05, I think, is what I usually do on this one.
Well, if you haven't traded a lot of it,
do a 0.01.
I would just do 0.01. Like, don't worry, because it's going to move very, very fast when it does. So right now it's kind of like in a wedge. You can see the wedge right now. You got a flat top wedge right where that zone is, and then you got a ascending.
It's hard to draw these wedges with these. Sometimes I can't see the wicks very well.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Well, see, here's the origin of the move. So I'm going to take it from this point on up to there. So I'll draw a trend line from here.
So right now, just to put it out there, that's not it's not an arrow trade yet because there's no arrows or anything. So it's just something that I'm putting some trend lines. I'm using pitchforks. I'm using some other tools of analysis to evaluate this trade. If it breaks that zone, that red zone, we could have clear skies for a while.
And I see I just got filled with my euro yen. So let's take a look and see how that's working out. Just got filled, and let's go take a look at my other charts. Euro yen. Let's go euro yen over here. Euro.
Matt, when you've got a moment, you got a couple of questions in the Q&A.
Oh, sure. Let's go check this out.
Yeah, this is looking good right now. We had the pullback, and now we're back into. You can see what I'm talking about here with the 5 moving average. The 5 moving average came up to the yellow line, couldn't cross it. Came up to the yellow line, crossed it. Price crossed it, but the moving average did not cross it. So now I'm in this trade, and we'll just see where it's going to take us. And I would expect it to be at least to the, well, it's probably going to come down to at least check out this wick over here on this 15-minute wick. This will be my target zone. And the question is that going to give me, that's 11 pips to my target from where the price, where that candle closed, or opened, I should say. Let's see, where do we actually get into this thing? Let's take a look at a 1-minute chart here.
Right, here we go. Let's see how far she goes.
Term of 30.
Yeah. Yeah, she smoked that zone there, so that zone's gone. Let me see what let's see if it comes back and tags the trend line a little bit.
We have all our moving averages are in the right direction. We have a trend line here.
That trend line, Al, that you have, that's where my stop is. So
Okay.
just so people know, like it's around the 50-80 mark.
That's about 100, about 19.
15.80.
What is that? A $18 stop?
About
1578 to, yeah.
it was lower than that earlier. It was at 1560, but since it came up here, I'm gonna go to 70 for now because it came back down and it tagged that a trend line bounce and the maybe.
I like it did broke this little wedge right here.
How about I share my screen now? How about that?
Okay, all right.
Yeah, let's do that. Hold on, give me a second.
Nope.
Just so that we're all on the same page and people can see what I'm looking at. So here, where's that zoom? Where are you? Share screen. This one. You should see my screen with trading view. All right. So German 30.
So what's your target on this
retrace? Right now until I start getting some trouble. Until I get some trouble. So I don't have a specific target. What I could do for target wise, we could use a stick. So from here to there. So we could use that as a target, guys. you could do something like that, but we'll see what happens here. This looks like it's moving really fast. This is just the 1 minute chart, so don't. We'll see if it comes back into that wedge,
which it looks like it's doing.
It just did. Well, it's gonna retrace a bit, right? We'll just see how deep that retrace is. Might come back down. That might we'll see. Let's see what kind of retrace that is. So from this move up here, let's go check. We got fib over retracement. So you're looking at a 50% retracement of that swing up. So I could have exited with about 15 pips in profit. I should have done that. Now I'm just sitting in whatever's going to happen, and I could potentially lose the trade. Or at about break even. So 61.8 would be interesting right here, because that's where this trend line is. This big old trend line, this comes from over here, and I drew it on a higher time frame, but it was it looked like a good trend line at the time, so we'll see. What do we got on arrow? We got no red zones, no nothing. So you see, we got nice clear skies to the top. We got no arrow though. So this could, what's going to happen is we could let the arrow moving average cross above price. And by doing that, we're going to get an arrow to the upside. So I don't have the arrow for trading view, but I am told it's in the works and it's coming. I have started to use Bollinger Bands quite a bit, and I started looking at the parabolic SAR, but I haven't had enough demo trades to be able to talk about it too much. But I've been using 3.
Looks like we have a bounce arrow on a British yen.
Oh yeah, you want to go take a quick peek at that then?
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at that one on the 5 minute. We got a 5 minute alert on that one.
Yeah, let me know if it turns out to be something worthwhile.
Where trend is, we're in an uptrend, just bounced off of the 200 moving average, which is not a good thing.
Oh, I need to get ready for the other call.
Okay.
So
okay.
I just got my notification. Anyway,
okay.
I'll let you guys there, and then maybe we'll see some of you guys over there.
All right.
All right, Matt. We'll see you later.
Take care, guys.
Take care.
Let's see if I can. I'll start sharing my screen again. And we have everybody sees my charts, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So there's a bounce arrow. This is on the 5 minute bounce arrow. The thing I don't like, we have the crossing over the moving averages up top here. They're still consolidating. This is a little bit of a consolidation. I'd like to see it pull back a little bit more. I want to draw a fib line from up here down to here. So I'd like to see the price be below. To go short, I want to see the price be below the arrow moving average and the 200 moving average. Right now it's in the middle between the two. So right now it's sort of basing. We'll see how far back up if it can come up. Right now it hadn't moved down, came back up, tested the 38%. And we are starting to get a little bit of a, this could be a fractal up here if we get the second close. But I'd like to see, right now, I'd like to see this thing close below the 200 moving average. And then maybe you can head on down to see if we have room down here to this zone. Right now it's in the middle, consolidating. Now it's either going to come down, it's going to go back up and retest, or it's going to break through and come on down and retest this area. Right now it's kind of in no man's land. We don't have we have the green. Yellow hasn't crossed the 62 yet. It has crossed the arrow moving average. So right now, right now I'd be looking to see a close below the 200. See how our euro yen's doing. Got into the trade, got a little bit profitable, not much. Pulled back to the trend line. See how these trend lines can really work sometimes. Here's a hit, it broke, tested it, came back down, retested the trend line again. Now it's trying to see where it's going to go. Let's take a look at my strength meter to see if everything's still in line, the euro and the yen. Come over here and check out the euro and the yen. The euro is weak. The yen is getting stronger. We're going to the short side, so that's good. Euro is weak, yen is strong. Euro is weak, yen is strong. Euro is weak, yen is stronger. So right now we're still trading in favor of to the strength of the yen. So right now everything's still looking good on that trade. And that's the other thing you can do. You can monitor the trade as you go along. If they start switching and start showing that the other one's getting strong, you just get out of the trade because, or it could be a pullback. If it's on like the 1 minute chart, just look at it as being a pullback. On the 5 minute, or actually on the 5 minutes, just look at it as being a pullback. On the 15, it starts looking at might be a trend change. Right now, this thing's still looking good for the short side, but it's got to get through this little green zone now. It just sort of popped up there. That's on the 1 minute. So we have to, let's go to the 5 minute and no zones there. So if we get through that little zone right here, then we'll be, and you can see that here's a strong move up, base, and took off. So there's a little bit of a basing right in here, which is why it's struggling to get through this little part. Always look to the left and see where price was before and see what it did before, because usually price has memory and it will come back in. This little area right in here has got to get through this little area. It's still making, here's a high, here's a low, here's a lower high, and it's still waiting to see if it makes a lower low. It is making lower highs and lower lows. So it's still looking okay from a technical standpoint. Let's see if it can follow this trend line all the way down until I get to my target. And with that, we have about 4 minutes left. Any last questions, comments? Anything you want to say real quick?
I think we've pretty much answered everything.
Yeah.
And so far, we had a couple trades today, I think. We had 2, I think.
Yeah, that's good.
Let's see, today. Yeah, we had 2 closed trades, so that's good. Or actually 1. We only did 1 today? Did one and we're in one.
Did you do more than one today?
Well, I thought I did, but
I
I
thought I did.
didn't.
Mhm.
I thought I had two, but I guess I only had the one.
I thought there was a pound. No, besides that one.
Pound
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 New
of Zealand.
Zealand. That was
And
the one
then,
that we.
yeah, well, don't look at me.
And we're in this one with the euro yen. I'm still in this one. We'll see what happens with this. Well, just let this one breathe a little bit, but I'd like this to like this drop, basing, and see if it'll drop again. If it drops again, it should come all the way back down to retest this zone right in here. But we did get the 38% pullback, so we should have this. This should be the, if it can, it did break through the zero line. Now the question is if it can break through again to retest the 38% on the other side here. So we'll just have to keep monitoring it and just see what it does. But it has to get through this little bit right here. If it can get through this little area right here, there's not a whole lot stopping it. I do have a little bit of a wick on this one, but this was the move up. We'll just have to wait and see. So with that, let's go and wrap this up. Give you a chance to get over to follow Matt from 9 o'clock to 12. And thanks for coming in. Thanks for your input. Thanks for your questions and your observations. And we'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a good trading day. Take care.